How's it going, guys? RipleyGames here, showing you how to install the gradients and patterns that are included in my new free thumbnail pack. Link is in the description. If you want to see what's in that pack, go back and watch the first video in this playlist. That shows you everything that's highlighted in this pack, everything that is available to you for free. That's right, I said it again, free. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to show you how to install the gradients and patterns first. So basically, what you're going to do is you're going to download and extract the thumbnail pack to a folder where you're going to remember where you put it. Make sure you, maybe to your desktop, or if you have a folder like me, I have a specific design folder like this. You can go ahead and extract it there. You're going to have a font, which is the font that everybody's using on their thumbnails, let's be real. You're going to have the RipleyGames patterns file, which is a Photoshop pattern file, and you're going to have the Ripley thumbnail pack gradients file, both there. So remember where those are, right? Now, what you're going to do is you're going to open up the thumbnail pack in Photoshop, and you're going to navigate over to the effects layer group. Your layers are in the bottom right hand corner if you're new to Photoshop. Hopefully you're not too new. I won't be doing too many beginner lessons here in this. But yeah, so then you're going to go to the text styles. We're going to hide this top group here. It says hide me. And I have 4 different styles of text here. Now, in order to use the text here, you're going to have to install the gradients and the pattern. So go ahead and open up the text styles group, and you're going to go to, we'll just start off with the fake 3D one. It doesn't really matter which one you start with because you'll only have to install this once. You're going to copy, right click to copy the layer style. So right click on the actual layer, the fake 3D layer, and you're going to hit copy layer style. Now, you may have already started creating a thumbnail. I'm going to go ahead and just create a separate document here, and I'm going to write some text out. Installing. Make it big so that you guys can see. So right now it's just plain text, right? So you're going to right click on the installing and you're going to hit paste layer style. Now for you, this gradient might not show. It's probably just going to show black. But if you want that exact gradient that I have there, you're going to double click on effects in the layer palette. You're going to go down to gradient overlay. You're going to click on the little arrow next to the gradient. And you see I've done this twice now because they're loaded in here twice. You're going to click on the little cogwheel and you're going to hit load gradients. You could also do replace gradients if you just want to completely replace them. But if you have created any custom gradients prior to this, it will ask you if you would like to save your old ones. Make sure that you do that if you have custom gradients in that list already. But yeah, so you're going to hit load gradients. Then you're going to navigate to the folder where the thumbnail pack is. Remember I said to remember where that is. And you're going to double click on the Ripley thumbnail pack gradients. And it's going to load in all the gradients into here. Now the one that I used for this text is this orange and yellow one. Right? So there's that one. This is the one that is used on the gold camo. But this is the one that we're using right now. But you'll have all of them there. Now from there, you're also going to want the pattern. So I'm going to hide the gradient overlay for now. You're going to go to pattern overlay in this layer style window, and you're going to click on the little arrow next to the pattern. And same thing, you can see I also did this twice. Click on the cogwheel, load patterns, and you're going to choose the RipleyGames patterns, and it's going to load those in. Now the one that I use on the diagonal text is the diagonal bar that you see here. The one for the gold camo is the last one, and it's this one. Okay? So that's going to be it. Now for the gold camo, it's a little bit different when you go to use it because I have a bevel and emboss on there. You're going to go to bevel and emboss in the layer style. You're going to choose texture. And in that texture, you're going to choose the Warzone topographical one. And you can play with it there, style it down, whatever you want to do. If you copied and pasted the gold camo text effect from the thumbnail pack, you won't have to do any of this. But yeah, so that is how to install the gradients and the patterns for the thumbnail pack. Let's go ahead and show you how to build a thumbnail on this thing. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So, first things first, I make my thumbnails in 1080 resolution. You can make them in 720. I prefer to make them in 1080 because it's higher quality, so when it scales down, it looks better. So, you're gonna file new, make a new thumbnail. I'm just gonna call this test thumbnail, whatever. So it's 1920 by 1080, 72 resolution because we're making a graphic for the internet, not for print. Color mode, RGB. And leave everything else as default and hit OK. So we've got ourselves a new document. Now we already have the thumbnail pack open. You need to have both of them open. It's tabs, just like in Chrome. So we have one up top here and one here. All right, so fairly simple to build your thumbnail within the thumbnail pack itself. And a lot of people will make this mistake when they get a thumbnail pack. They'll go ahead and they'll put everything together. They'll get all the text and everything on here. And that's not how you want to do it. And that's primarily because then you're saving or sometimes you're not saving, but you're saving a huge file to your computer with everything in it. And it's best to keep things separate too for reference later. Like you'll see when I go into my documents for all of my design clients, I have everything separated out to a folder with all their individual thumbnails that I've ever created. So if they ever need to revisit, or maybe there's something I want to take from one of them, they're separated. File structure is really important. I know. It sounds boring, but it's true. Very, very important. Okay. Anyway, back to the thumbnail. So, yeah. So we're going to go ahead and start building this thing up. So I want a background. Let's, we'll just do the standard. What do I want to do here? We'll do the standard blue cloud background. This is from a screen grab that I got from Call of Duty and Codcaster that I just blurred out. And you'll see what I did there. I did it kind of quick, but you go to the asset that you want in the thumbnail pack. With the move tool, which you can access by hitting V on your keyboard, you're going to click on the layer, make sure that you are active on that layer, click with the move tool, and drag it up to the tab where you want it to go. So I just put a second one there. But yeah, so you'll see just copies it over. Very easy, so no need to copy and paste and all that, just drag it over. All right, so we've got a little background. Let's go ahead and add something interesting in the background so that it's not just a blue sky. We'll go to the effects section. We'll go to layer effects and let's go ahead and do the money drops. I like those. I made these in Blender. So you can do multiple objects at once. So if you hold down Shift and then click on a selection of layers in the thumbnail pack, you can bring both of them over, or Control if they're like not right next to each other. So yeah, I'm going to bring both of these money drops over. Click and drag. And just make sure you line it up with the edges. And you can scale these down, you can blur them out, you can do whatever you want. So yeah, I like that there. We'll leave that there. Whoops. All right, so now we've got a little bit of something going on in the background. And now I want an operator. Let's see, what operator do we want here? Go to 3D renders, and maybe we'll grab price. This price purple MP7. Again, click and drag it over. And I want him kind of like here, so there's not too much going on behind him. One key thing you want to know about making a thumbnail for YouTube is that the bottom right-hand corner shows the timestamp automatically when people are hovering over your video. So you don't want to put any important information like down here. That area is a no-no. Don't put anything important there. No text, nothing. Just leave that blank. Nobody's going to see it anyway because the timestamp is going to cover it. I have the money drop in the bottom right, but it's not really obstructing anything. It's not really important. It's just there for effect, so that's fine. From there, maybe let's add something else to the background. Maybe the bullet drop. I like the bullet drop. I made that in Blender with a particle emitter. So we'll go back to effects, layer effects. And I want the Warzone gas too. So I'm going to bring both of those over, the Warzone gas and the bullet drop. Hold down Shift, move tool selected by pressing V or just clicking on it, and drag them both over. All right, now they're on separate layers. I want the bullets to be kind of in the background of the money, not like in front of it. And this gas is cool behind him, but I also want a little bit of gas in front of him just so that it adds some depth to it. So I'm just going to click the Warzone gas layer and drag it down to the new layer so it makes a copy of it. And I'm going to drag it above Price and maybe move it down so it's not obstructing him so much. It just looks like he's in the gas a little bit. Now you can change the color of this Warzone gas. So you can go ahead and select whichever one you want to change. I'm going to do the background one. And you can go to Image, Adjustments, Use Saturation. And you can just play with the slider there to make it whatever color you want. I just want it to be a little bit more blue because it's affected by the clouds. That's fine for me, so you can see the difference there. Adds a little bit more depth. And the bullets are too in focus. The money is kind of blurred as it gets closer to the camera. Like it's supposed to show that it's got some depth. So we're going to click on the bullet drop. We're going to go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur. And we'll just blur them out a little bit so that they're in the background there. Now you can flip those bullets if you don't like the way that they're positioned. You can go to Edit, Transform, Flip Horizontal. You can scale them up, down. You can change the color of them, whatever you want to do. I just flip them. I'm also going to add a photo filter just so that they're blue, like they're being affected by the clouds. So you want to keep all that in mind. You want to keep your background in mind, the colors. You don't want things to stick out too much. You want it to look kind of like it's naturally in place. Or maybe you don't. Maybe you want it to look like they're sticking out. It's entirely up to you. I just prefer to do it this way. So I'm going to go down here to the adjustments area of the layer palette. It's a little circle, like half circle. And I'm going to choose photo filter. And the sky is blue, so I'm going to choose the cooling filter. You'll see it affected the sky, but I really only want it to affect the bullets. So I'm going to hold the Alt key and click in between the photo filter and the bullet drop layer so that it only applies to the bullets, and maybe I'll make it a little brighter so that they're just a little bit more blue. So I set it to 48% in the density of the properties. Okay, so we've got a pretty basic thumbnail, and now we need some text, and maybe a banner, or maybe a nuke symbol. Who knows? Let's see. Let's go over to the thumbnail pack again. We're going to hide this effects. We'll do the banners and tags first. So we're going to go to the red tag area. Show that, and this is fully customizable. I showed this in the explainer video where I showed everything in the pack, but we're going to bring that over, that entire group. So with these, you need to bring the entire group, not just a layer. So click on the red tag group, use the move tool, bring it all over. It's going to bring the entire group over. And we don't want it behind, although it is kind of a cool effect. We want it on top. So we're going to drag it all the way up top. And I'm going to open up that layer group, and let's make this say insane. All right, now we're going to go to the editable tag layer. We're going to grab our pen tool and hold down Control and click on one of the corners. Now you can move each corner around by holding down Control and clicking on the point that you want to move. I just don't want this to be so big. There we go, just make some slight adjustments here. I think that looks pretty good. Maybe we'll move this out so that it's even. But you can literally make this any shape you want. It doesn't even have to be a tag. And let's say I want to adjust the color a little bit. What you're going to do is while that editable tag is open, you're going to go down to the direct selection tool, which is A on your keyboard, or you can just click it. It's right underneath text. And up top, you're going to see you'll have fill, stroke, the size of the border, all that stuff. I like the red, but maybe I want it to be green. Nah, maybe not. Just play with it. Pick a color that you like. Maybe we'll do this blue. It kind of matches the background, not so much contrast. And that's that. Now you can scale either one of these up or down by transforming them. Control T, you can do that. You can go in and I'm not going to apply the transformation. I liked it. You can go in and you can change the border color if you want in that same way that we changed the color. So you can make it black or red or whatever color you want. Maybe a lighter blue or a darker blue. I like it white. I think it has good contrast when it's white. And then you can also, you can flip it around. You can really do whatever you want. Move it anywhere that you want. And yeah, that's it for the tag. So we'll leave the tag there. Now we need some text to tell us what this video is about. Or maybe you don't, but in this case we do because I want to go ahead and show you how to use the text. So pretty simple. We're going to go ahead and go back to the thumbnail pack. Gonna go to effects. We'll hide the banners and tags for now. We'll hide the layer effects, go to text styles and show them, and let's use the fake 3D. That one's pretty common, so we'll right click on the fake 3D, hit copy, layer style, just like we did when we installed. So right click on fake 3D, hit copy layer style, go over to your thumbnail, and you're going to grab the text tool, and you're going to just type some text. So we'll say, I don't know, we'll say new mode. Okay, we'll scale that up, Control T to transform. When you scale things up, by the way, I see a lot of people do this where they just grab a point and they just move that point, but what happens is you distort your text when you do that. You want it to maintain the same aspect ratio and the same dimensions. So if you hold down Shift and grab a corner, you can go ahead and do that. I don't really like how the text is spaced out, so on the right hand side I'm going to grab the character palette, and right here in the line spacing or the leading, I'm going to just turn it down a little bit. I think I like it like that. Now with that text selected, you'll notice that I have it set to bold and to set all letters to capital. If you don't, however you type it is how it's going to show. You're going to right click on the text and hit paste layer style. Boom, you now have text. Maybe we'll make it italic. Maybe we won't. However you want to do it. You can transform it, turn it around, make it bigger. I like things to be sort of set behind each other and sort of, you know, look like they're in three-dimensional space or faux three-dimensional space. So I'm actually going to put this behind Price so that the E kind of goes right behind his shoulder. It just adds a little bit of depth so that things are pushed forward and backwards. And yeah, I mean, this is a pretty simple thumbnail, but it works. You know, you don't really have to do anything too crazy. That's the basics of a thumbnail. Now, for me personally, I would go through and I would also add a color correction. So we can go back to the thumbnail pack, go to color correction. I like the warmer one. So again, click on warmer underneath the color correction section, and you're going to grab it with your move tool, bring it over, put it here in the thumbnail pack, and you'll see it just adds a little bit of dimension. I might turn it down to like a 30% instead of a 50, so it's not too orange. And yeah, whenever I show a thumbnail to a client, I usually will take all the layers before I send it over to them and just do a brightness and contrast adjustment. So hold down the Shift key, click the top layer, and then click on the bottom layer. You're going to go down and click on the create new group, so it puts everything into a group. Then I duplicate that group just like we duplicated the layer by grabbing the group and bringing it down to the new layer. And you're going to right click on it, hit merge group. So now you have basically a snapshot of your thumbnail all on one layer, right? So it's all on one layer, and then we can just add some adjustments. So I'll just go into image, adjustments, brightness, contrast, turn the brightness up, maybe add a little bit more contrast so it doesn't lose some of those darker values. All right. And that's it, guys. That's how quickly I was able to make a thumbnail. It took me, what, 10 minutes, if that? I hope you guys enjoyed this, and maybe we'll see you in Season 5 for an update to this pack. If this video gets 100 likes, I will create an update for Season 5 with the new assets for whatever comes out with Season 5 in a few weeks. That's it, guys. Take care, socially distance, wash your hands, wear a mask if you go out, be kind to each other. I love you all, and bye!